From the beginning of 1945, the whole of Japan was within the bombing range of the United States Strategic Air Force based in the Marianas. As the days and weeks went by, the bombings became increasingly intensified. Not only the coastal waters, but the inland regions and the hind side of Japan came under the wings of the superfortresses. Hiroshima, a city of 350,000 facing the inland sea, was the largest city in the Chugoku district in western Honshu, the main island of Japan. Here was located the army headquarters for the Chugoku district. Since the time of the Sino-Japanese War of 1894-95, when the Imperial General Headquarters was temporarily established, Hiroshima was an important military base. The port of Ujina, Hiroshima's outport, served as a supply and transport base throughout the war, while the neighboring town of Kure was one of the principal naval bases of Japan. It was the 6th of August. The air raid alarm, which had been on from the night before throughout the Chugoku district, was lifted for the time being. It was an unusually calm and clear morning. A few minutes after 8 o'clock, two superfortresses in formation appeared over the city. Then a bomb came hurtling down from one of the giant bombers. There was a blinding flash, then a deafening explosion. In an instant, Hiroshima was a scene of unprecedented chaos. Hiroshima was instantly transfigured. There was nothing left but ruins, nothing standing to hinder a full view of the city. Every type of transportation was completely wiped out. All institutions and organizations, public and private, were destroyed. Their functions came to a complete standstill. For several days, little information was available. Over the radio from the United States came the announcement that the deadly weapon was the atomic bomb, the first ever used in the world. As the situation quieted down, it became clear how fearful the bomb was, fearful beyond ordinary human imagination. The first casualty report gave the dead as 30,000 and the injured as 86,000. Later it became known that the casualties were actually much larger. "90% of the 75,000 buildings and dwellings in the city were completely destroyed by blast and fire. The total casualties were approximately 194,000. Accurate figures are unknown and difficult to obtain because of the confusion which gripped the city for several days and because several unaccounted army units were stationed there at the time. The scope and extent of the devastation testify more eloquently than anything else to the enormous destructive power of the new bomb. The direction in which the trees fell offered one clue in locating the center of destruction. Hereafter we shall call the center of detonation the epicenter. The epicenter was located south, or on the other side, as seen from here, of the Torii Gateway to the Gokoku Shrine. We considered the damaged area to be within 15 kilometers from this point. This, for instance, is Hibakusha, 15 kilometers from the epicenter, or at the outside limit of the afflicted area. Damage here is confined to broken windows. This is Yano Station, about 10 kilometers from the epicenter. Here, too, the only damages were broken windows. Within a radius of 8 kilometers, shuttered windows were more widespread. At some places, tiled roofs were also damaged. Generally speaking, at points about 5 kilometers from the epicenter, sides of objects which faced the blast showed more extensive damage. Damage was greater as we approached closer to the epicenter. Roof tiles were shattered or blown off, and here and there Japanese dwellings leaned over to one side. This is the Hiroshima Meteorological Observatory, situated on a hill at Eba, about 4 kilometers from the epicenter. Here we found evidence of the powerful atomic blast, especially in the seismograph room. Notice the pieces of broken glass which lodged into the wooden cabinet. As we drew near the epicenter, we saw buildings, their walls blown out and their roofs blown down. Ordinary wooden Japanese houses are supported with pillars, 4-inch square. Upon these pillars rest wooden trusses, and over them are laid roof tiles. These houses were destroyed without a single exception. At some places, fires broke out, causing more carnage.